Hello friends, in this video we are going to study about T.S. Eliot. So T.S. Eliot is a modern writer, that is 20th century writer, 1888-1965. He is a Nobel Prize winner. He received this award in 1948. His contemporary writers are W.B. Yeats, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, T.H. Lawrence. Okay, now let's quickly, because we are going to cover the star points in this video, so let's talk about his writings, his works. So he was influenced by Ezra Pound, and during his acquaintance with Ezra Pound, he was encouraged to write the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. This got published in this Chicago magazine in this title under poetry in 1951. Basically, in this writing, we get to know that the protagonist, Prufrock, is a perfect gentleman, but he is tormented by the meaningless gentility, conventionality, and socializing by which he is surrounded, and by which his inability to express his anguish is depicted by the writer. Also, here I want to add that this is also one of the most important themes of 20th century, that is the modern writings. Okay, meaningless gentility, where the protagonist is also, or in general we can say, the people are shown anguished by the conventionality and the socializing around them. There is an inability to express their grief also. So all these are most common and well-known themes of the modern writings, T.S. Eliot's writings, but also of the modern era, modern writings. Okay, so he is uncertain of his identity, and he feels that he has heard something other but is unable to respond. Again, when there is a problem with the expression, there is a emphasis on the fragmented form of the poetry. So again, another features of this writing, where the writings are in the fragmented form. The thoughts are also in the fragmented form. Basically, the fragmented writing reflects the fragmented and anxious state of the mind. Okay. So from a technical point of view, the poem was revolutionary, and the extraordinary imagery, such as the quiet evening being likened to a patient etherized on a table, was shocking but caught the reader's attention. So this is about the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, Eliot's writing style, and the modern era writing's salient features. Now let's quickly, that is why we say it's a modernist revolutionary poetry also. Now let's quickly come to his another work in 1919. Another work entitled as Eras Vos Prek got published, and this got published under the title Poems. The name is Gerontian. This is a contemplative interior monologue in blank verse. So we know that Marlowe uses blank verse, Shakespeare has also used blank verse, and another writer of the modern writing who uses blank verse in this poetry is T.S. Eliot, and he's making the use of the great writing style monologues in his poetry Gerontian. Another work that is very popular with the readers, his essay Tradition and the Individual Talent. So in this essay he talks about, if we try to understand this essay and make our classification, then we can classify it into the four parts. But here we are going to talk about the proposed theories, okay, as per the essay. So the first one is the doctrine of impersonality in poetry. We all know the emphasis of impersonality in poetry that Eliot is emphasizing throughout his writings. Another series of his essays, a collection of his essays, are The Sacred Wood 1920, The Use of Poetry and the Use of Criticism 1933, The Classics and the Man of Letters 1942, Hamlet and His Problems in the Sacred Wood. Is important because here he develops his idea or the theory of impersonality and coined the term objective correlative. So if I have to explain this theory of impersonality and objective correlative, I need another video to talk about this. Here we are just going to touch upon the important terms coined by him, his writing styles, his theories, and all of that. But yes, this is very important because in his this essay he answers back his critics, and that answer has the objective correlative and theory of impersonality as the chief terms and theories. He also talks about dissociation of sensibility. He uses this famous phrase. So in another video, if you would like me to explain these terms, objective correlative, theory of impersonality and dissociation of sensibility, I would love to explain it. For this we will have to read, we will have to focus on this essay, Individual Tradition and the Individual Talent. I would love to take this essay from the scratch entirely in a different video. So he is talking about dissociation of sensibility too. Okay, now what is it? Like many of his ideas expressed in his criticism, this also, that is dissociation of sensibility, seems to suggest an approach helpful in the appreciation of his writing style, his poetry. As I said, he is kind of defending his own poetry. We cannot say he is a narcissist, he is appreciating his poetry, but yes, definitely he felt a need to protect his writing style, and there was this need of backing up his writing with some kind of relevant explanation, and this is an answer for not only his readers but also his critics. These influential writings changed the face of literary criticism. Yes, undoubtedly so, because 20th century has its own writing style, changed writing style from the centuries because of the obvious reasons, the changing times, the wars, all those reasons. Again, this is a different topic. The next work by the writer is from 1917 to 1919. He also worked as an editor for this journal, The Egoist and Criterion. These questions are also important from net point of view or any competitive examination point of view. So he has edited the two journals or worked as an editor, The Egoist 1922 and The Criterion. Okay, and these are quarterly reviews. The next is Wasteland. Let's not forget The Wasteland 1922. Okay, I was waiting for this work to come so that we can talk about his writing style at length. And this also, The Wasteland, gives us a deep, we can say, psyche. It gives us a deep reflection towards the psyche of the modern era writers and that time, that generation, society, politics, culture, everything. Yes, so The Wasteland gets published in 1922 and it's a very important work. It has 5 quarters. E. Cummings also appreciates his work, and this poem became, this is very important, this poem became a symbol of the disillusionment of the post First World War generation, and the Eliots conversational style made him an icon, a model for generations of poets to become. As I have said earlier, if you remember, I emphasized on these 2 points. So that is why I was waiting for this poetry to come so that we can talk about it. Okay? So this is the World War, the effects of the the aftermaths of the First World War, and he talks about the disillusionment of the generation and how lucidly and succinctly he has explained the entire generation, entire I should say, has covered the society, the politics, the culture, the individual, everything lucidly. So he becomes the icon, a role model, because he represented it so realistically. Okay, so what according to with Pound's guidance, obviously, Eliot abridged the wasteland because it was lengthy otherwise. So he abridged the wasteland and it got 5 parts, and it also uses a series of dramatic monologues. You all know these dramatic monologues are also poetic devices used by the writer for certain kind of expressions in place poetries, right? Now, yeah, you can make a note of the key terms that you want to understand, if at all. So I can explain all of these terms in another video, starting from this thing. What was it? The theory of impersonality, objective correlative, dissociation of sensibility, and what is it? Yeah, dramatic monologue. Okay. Now, this work delicately mingled with the cultural and all sorts of historical references, and there are other allusions that he has used in this poetry. All this material has been taken from, or the allusions have been borrowed from, the Grail legend, the story of the Fisher King, the Fraser's Golden Bough, and the Dante's Divine Comedy. And final words are also from the Sanskrit, where we find that he has a good knowledge of Upanishads also. Now, this reliance on allusion to the cosmopolitan mythology and the liberal use of foreign words were the aspects most strongly criticized. So, this was strongly criticized. These elements can alienate the reader, but one's focus should be on the poem's representation or the presentation of the predicament of man searching for salvation, rather than on the scholarly references. So, according to the writer of this article, this is what the writer believes, right? That otherwise it gets too tedious. We need to understand all the allusions and then reach the meaning. But anyway, that's not the only point of view. This is one of the criticisms which Eliot had to face. Or we can also say that the wasteland basically gives us the, or tells us about the predicament of a modern man, and yes, he is searching for some kind of salvation. So there are many scholarly references in the wasteland. The wasteland is famous for that, all the scholarly references and allusions. Interestingly, we can study them and enjoy them. I need to drink water, my throat is choking, so we stop in this video and we'll complete the article on Eliot in another video. Thank you.